Let me ask you something right now. What are you doing with your time? Be honest. Not the version of yourself you post online, not the highlights you show to people when they're watching. I'm talking about the real you when the doors are closed, when no one's watching. Are you working or are you hiding? Laziness is not some quirky personality trait. It's not cute. It's not harmless. It's a silent killer of dreams. It's the soft poison that creeps in slowly. First an hour wasted, then a day lost, and eventually a life full of I could have been. You weren't born lazy. You didn't come out of the womb procrastinating. Laziness is a learned behavior. And guess what? Anything learned can be unlearned. But it starts with a decision, a brutally honest moment where you say, I'm done letting this version of me win. You have work to do, not someday, today. Laziness survives off of confusion and comfort. When you don't know what to do, your brain chooses the easy path. When you're tired, your body wants to rest, and it should. But most people aren't resting. They're escaping. There's a difference between rest and avoidance. Your mind is a battleground. It will fight for what's familiar, even if what's familiar is destroying you. That's why you have to install systems that make action automatic. Don't trust your emotions to decide your future. Trust your structure, trust your plan. Build the day before it starts. Eliminate decisions and replace them with rules. When the alarm goes off, you don't think, you get up. When it's time to work, you don't debate, you start. That's how leaders think. That's how champions live. Stop looking for motivation. You don't need another inspirational quote. What you need is responsibility. Tie your actions to something greater than yourself. Think about the people who are counting on you. Think about your family, your team, your future self. Laziness is selfish. It's you choosing the temporary over the meaningful. Every time you delay your work, your mission weakens. Every excuse is another brick between you and your goals. You don't get time back. You don't get energy back. Once it's gone, it's gone. That's why it matters what you do now, not later. You have something inside of you that this world needs, but will never see it if you keep playing small. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be in motion. Action cures laziness. Progress fuels purpose. Your dreams are waiting. Your calling is waiting, but they won't wait forever. So kill the laziness. Get up. Show up. You have work to do. Laziness is often misunderstood. People wear it like a label. I'm just lazy, they say, as if it's a fixed trait, something built into their DNA. But that's not true. Laziness isn't who you are. It's a pattern, a repeated set of choices that over time becomes your automatic response to challenge. And the worst part, you probably didn't even notice when it started. Maybe it crept in during a season of burnout. Maybe it was born from fear of failure or perfectionism. Maybe it came disguised as taking a break that turned into staying stuck. Whatever the reason, it's not permanent. It can be changed. But first, you've got to own the truth. You created the pattern, which means you can destroy it. Think of laziness like a loop, a mental program that runs quietly in the background of your life. It shows up as that voice that says, I'll do it tomorrow, or I need to be in the right mindset, or just 5 more minutes of scrolling, then I'll start. It feels harmless in the moment, but those moments stack up. And over time, you build a habit of delay, a routine of avoidance, a lifestyle of missed opportunities. What starts as a moment of rest becomes a prison of hesitation. You begin to associate work with pain and comfort with safety, even when that comfort is killing your progress. And here's what you need to understand. Patterns don't break by accident. They break by design. You can't casually defeat laziness. You have to interrupt it. You have to catch yourself in the moment, challenge the voice that whispers not now, and push forward anyway. That's how you begin to reclaim control. Not by waiting to feel ready, but by acting your way into readiness. Once you realize laziness is just a habit loop, it changes everything. It's not about who you are, it's about what you've repeated. That means you don't need to find motivation. You need to interrupt the pattern. You need to replace that old behavior with a new one decision at a time. The same way you trained your brain to be passive, you can train it to be proactive. But it starts with awareness. You have to become conscious of when you're avoiding the work. You have to notice when you're running on autopilot. And then you take back the wheel. Because here's the truth. You weren't created to coast. You weren't meant to settle. There's a version of you that's disciplined, focused, relentless. That version isn't out of reach. It's just buried beneath your current routine. Kill the routine, kill the laziness, replace it with structure, purpose, and urgency. The moment you stop accepting laziness as part of your identity is the moment you start transforming. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's repetition done with intention. It's rewiring how you respond when the excuses show up. That's the work. That's the fight. And it's a fight worth winning. Your brain was designed for survival, not success. It's wired to keep you safe, to avoid discomfort, to conserve energy. That means when something feels hard, uncertain, or painful, your brain pulls back. It whispers, not now, this isn't safe, rest. And in some situations, that's useful. But when you have goals, when you have a vision, when you have a mission that demands your full potential, that same instinct becomes the enemy. Because comfort is not where growth lives. Growth is hard, success is uncomfortable, transformation is painful, and if you keep choosing what's easy, you'll keep living beneath what's possible. Laziness is not always lying on a couch doing nothing. Sometimes it's hidden behind busyness, distractions, fake productivity. It's disguised as overthinking, perfectionism, scrolling, even helping others at the expense of your own responsibilities. It's the subtle resistance to doing what really matters. And that resistance comes from your brain trying to protect you from failure, from judgment, from the unknown. But that protection has a price. It costs you your dreams. It costs you your momentum. It costs you your life. Here's the shift. You must stop making comfort your goal, because your life will always follow the direction of your decision. And if those decisions are based on avoiding pain, you'll never stretch into your purpose. The work that matters is almost always the work you don't want to do at first. The call you avoid, the workout you delay, the project you postpone. That's the battlefield. That's where the breakthrough is born. Not when it's easy, but when it's hardest. You need to reframe the discomfort. Instead of seeing pain as a threat, see it as a signal. When something challenges you, it means you're growing. When it feels hard to stay disciplined, it means you're doing something that matters. Pain isn't punishment. It's progress. Resistance isn't a reason to stop. It's a reason to push harder. Because every time you act in spite of the resistance, you rewire your mind. You train yourself to operate on purpose, not preference. You stop letting the primitive part of your brain call the shots, and you start letting your mission drive your behavior. Most people think success is about talent, intelligence, or luck. It's not. It's about doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. That's how you build strength. That's how you build discipline. Not from a place of inspiration, but from a deep, unwavering commitment to your vision. You have to want the outcome more than you want the comfort. You have to chase your future with more fire than your fear, because your brain wants comfort, but your purpose demands struggle. And only one of them gets to win. People wait around for motivation like it's some magical force that shows up to push them into greatness. But motivation is unreliable. It's fleeting. It depends on your mood, the weather, how much sleep you got, or what video you watched that morning. You can't build a meaningful life on something that inconsistent. If you want real progress, measurable, lasting change, you don't need more motivation. You need a system. You need structure that pulls you forward when your feelings want to pull you back. Because the truth is, successful people don't always feel like working. They don't always feel inspired. What sets them apart is that they've built a system that makes action non-negotiable. Laziness thrives in chaos. When you have no plan, no order, no clear priorities, your brain will default to doing what's easy. That's when you waste time. That's when you sit there thinking about what to do next. And before you know it, hours are gone. Systems eliminate that confusion. They remove the need to think in the moment. Instead of asking, what should I do now? Your system tells you, this is what's next. Systems give you clarity, and clarity fuels movement. So many people say they're stuck because they lack motivation. But the truth is, they're stuck because they don't have rules for their life. They don't have habits that carry them forward when the initial excitement fades. It's easy to be fired up on day one, but what about day 37 when you're tired, bored, and tempted to quit? That's where systems save you. That's where routines carry the load when your willpower is empty. When you design your day in advance, when you schedule your priorities, when you automate your progress, you take the emotion out of it. And that's the secret. You don't wait to feel like doing it. You just do it, because that's what the system requires. Think about the most productive version of yourself. That version doesn't rely on bursts of energy. It runs on habits. It follows a plan. It does. Why? Because the decision was made ahead of time. That's the power of a system. It gives you consistency in the face of chaos. It gives you discipline even when your motivation is gone. Laziness fades when structure rises. If you want to kill laziness, build a daily system that forces you to act. Track your time, set daily standards, create non-negotiable rituals. The system becomes your accountability. The system becomes your momentum. And when you follow it long enough, the system becomes your identity. That's when everything changes. That's when laziness is no longer part of your life, not because you pushed harder, but because you became someone who simply doesn't tolerate it anymore. Every time you procrastinate, every time you choose comfort over commitment, your dream takes another hit. Not all at once. It doesn't die loudly. It dies quietly in the background while you scroll, delay, make excuses, and tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. But here's the reality. Tomorrow is a liar. Tomorrow is where potential goes to disappear. Your dreams aren't waiting forever. They are starving for your discipline, starving for your effort, starving for your attention. And if you keep feeding your distractions instead of your goals, you will wake up one day in a life you didn't want, wondering where it all went wrong. There are people who need you to show up. People will benefit from your gifts, your ideas, your leadership, if you would just stop holding back. You think procrastination is harmless, but it's not. It's stealing your legacy in slow motion. Every time you hesitate, every time you tell yourself just 5 more minutes, you're reinforcing a pattern that kills momentum. And without momentum, nothing moves forward. Your health doesn't improve, your income doesn't grow, your purpose doesn't expand. Progress is built in the moments where you choose discipline over delay. And those moments stack. You must understand, laziness doesn't just affect you. It affects everyone connected to your purpose. When you don't do the work, someone else suffers. Someone misses the breakthrough you were meant to create. Someone doesn't hear the message you were meant to speak. Someone doesn't benefit from the solution you were meant to build. Your inaction has a ripple effect. So this isn't just about you. This is about responsibility, about stepping up for something bigger than yourself. You don't need more time. You don't need better conditions. You need to make a decision, a line in the sand kind of moment where you say, enough. I will not waste another day feeding the version of me that plays small. Because while you're delaying, someone else is out there putting in the work. Someone else is gaining ground while you're standing still. The world doesn't slow down because you're tired. Time doesn't pause while you get motivated. Life keeps moving, and you either move with it or you get left behind. Your dreams are not fragile, but they are fading when neglected. They're strong enough to become reality, but only if you feed them with action. So you have a choice right now. Feed your fear or feed your future. Numb out with excuses or rise up with responsibility. The work you're avoiding, that's the doorway to the life you actually want. but you'll never walk through it if you keep sitting still. So get up, stop waiting, start working, because your dreams are hungry and you're the only one who can feed them.